Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine and well at home. So, here I am with my lesson number 16 of Elementary Economics, Class 9. Students, in this video, I shall be discussing about chapter number 3, that is an economy, its sectors, basic concepts, and entities. Already I have made many videos of this chapter. Those who haven't seen those videos yet, kindly first see that, and if you faces any problem, just mention in the comment section. So in my previous video I have discussed the definition of capital, relationship between capital, wealth and income, the importance of capital, various examples of capital I have discussed with you, features of capital. And so in this video I am going to start the topic types of capital. Just already I have told you that there are four types of capital, so it is important to remember the difference between these two: sunk capital and floating capital, money capital and real capital, and human capital and non-human capital. So let's proceed to our first type of capital, that is fixed capital and circulating capital. Now first we will talk about fixed capital. What is fixed capital? Those capital goods which can be used in the production process again and again constitute fixed capital. So fixed capital means all those capital goods which can be used, which you can use again and again in producing the goods and services. The main hint line is which you can use again and again where in the production process. That is a fixed capital. By example, you will be able to clear machines. Once you have purchased the machines, it will be used in producing various goods and services. So that doesn't mean that if you've purchased machinery, you have produced one time production, and your machinery will be will be useless. No, it will not be. You can use it again and again for producing various types of goods and services. Similarly with the furniture also, once you have purchased furniture, it will not be regarded as waste. Just it can be used for a long period of time. So fixed capital means those capital goods which can be used again and again, or for a long period of time, which can be used for a long period of time. And while circulating capital means those capital goods which are totally used up in a single round of production constitute circulating capital. Means when we use that circulating capital goods, they gets exhausted, they gets finished with the single round of production. For example, raw material, because we have purchased the raw material for a single time of production, and when that single time of production is finished, and that circulating capital goods is also finished. Fuel is used in one time production, is used up in one time of production, and we cannot use that fuel just again and again. Once the fuel used is exhausted, and we cannot use that fuel again. Similarly with the power means electricity. So electricity used is this electricity used once is exhausted, and that cannot be used again. So those capital goods which becomes exhausted just in the single round of production, that is known as circulating capital. So uh, just to make you remember, as the name suggests, fixed means they are fixed. So those capital goods which can be used again and again. While circulating, those capital goods which are used up in single round of production. In a, just remember this term, single round of production. And just remember that the examples also in fixed capital, machines and furniture are there, and in circulating capital, raw materials, fuel, power, etc. are there. So I hope the first type is clear to you. Now next is sunk capital and floating capital. Now capital which has already been invested in such a way that it must continue to be used for a particular purpose. Now it cannot be easily transferred to any other use. Now understand this definition with the help of one example. Now suppose if you have constructed a power plant. Once a power plant is constructed, power plant means electricity plants. So it can be used for power generation only. Now you cannot use in producing goods and services. You cannot use that power plant in producing biscuits. Okay, obviously not. You cannot use that. So uh, uh, once capital which is invested to a particular purpose can be used for that particular purpose only. Just it cannot be easily transferred to any other use, because you have constructed that thing in a particular ways, and it may not be, and it will not be suitable to any other purpose. That is sunk capital. You have invested wholly, and now that capital will not be used for other purposes. So capital which has already been invested, that we have already been invested in such a way that it must continue to be used for a particular purpose, means the purpose for which we have invested the capital we should use for that purpose only, and we cannot transfer it to other purpose, because that is practically impossible. Suppose you have constructed a um, factory for making a shoe. That factory cannot be used for making wheat. This obviously not, it is practically impossible. So the capital which is invested for a particular purpose should be used for that purpose only, and it cannot be transferred to other purpose. Now in contrast, if we talk about floating capital, what is floating capital? So capital which can be easily transferred between alternative uses. The capital which we can used for many purposes, capital invested for the purposes which can be used for many purposes is known as floating capital. For example, if you have purchased a typewriter, so typewriter can be used in a just accounts company also, just in biscuits company also for maintaining the accounts. Just or typewriter can be used at homes also. So that is not that that if you have purchased a typewriter it will be used for only that purpose only. Typewriter can be used by any purpose. So that means it is a floating capital, is the capital invested which can be easily transferred to many purposes, alternative purposes, uses. So I hope so the difference is clear to you. Sunk capital means the capital that we have already invest, जो हम लोग invest कर चुके हैं, and that investment should continue for that particular purpose only, and that cannot be easily transferred to any other use. For example, power plant cannot be used for other purposes, while a capital which can be used, which can be easily be transferred among various alternative uses, that is known as floating capital. For example, typewriter you have purchased, you have purchased a motorcycle. So my motorcycle is not used only for going to a power plant, that can be used for other purposes also, dropping the children, going to cinema house, going to a park. So it can be used for many purposes. So I hope so the difference is clear to you. Next one is money capital and real capital. Now what is money capital? An amount of money is called money capital if it is used for the purpose of purchasing capital goods. Now money capital means the amount of cash which you hold with you. Money capital is the amount of cash which you hold with you, and you purchase the capital goods with that money capital. So money capital is that amount of capital, is the amount of cash which is held by you, and from that capital you purchases the capital goods. While the real capital is a real goods and services, it is a physical goods. Real capital means the physical goods that assist in the production of other goods. That assist in the production of other goods. The example of real capital can be machineries that help in the production of other goods. Machineries, tools, equipments. machineries, tools, equipment, raw materials. So all those are real goods, means the physical goods which we can see and touched, so that are real goods. And money capital means the amount of cash which is held by you, held by cash, just either at home or either at bank. So that is the money capital, which is the real cash from which you purchases the capital goods. So it's very easy, it's not that tough. I hope so difference is clear to you. Money capital is the actual cash, is the actual cash, while the real capital means the physical goods and services, physical goods and services, physical goods and services. So I hope so the difference is clear to you. Next, last fourth part type of capital is human capital and the non-human capital. The educated or the skilled labor is sometimes referred as human capital. Human capital means the capital which is invested on the humans. Now how we can invest the capital on the humans? By spending the money, or by spending the money on education. By making the humans educated and skilled, we can invest, we can spend the money on humans, and the money spent on humans is known as human capital. Of course, the skilled or the educated worker is a produced means of production. The skilled or the educated worker is known as a produced means of production. Why produced? Because we have spent the money on that human. And how we have spent? By spending the money on education. So that is human capital, means the educated or the skilled worker. We are not skilled from the birth, we are not educated from since our birth. We are provided the education, and from that education we become skilled or educated. And so thus we can say that the money spent on the human for making him educated or skilled labor is known as human capital, while non-human capital means all types of capital other than the human capital. Leaving human capital, all the types of capital will come under this heading. So I hope so the difference is clear to you. So let's proceed to our next topic, that is entrepreneurship. Now what is entrepreneurship? Just it is defined as the process of creating new enterprise. It's a process of creating when a new enterprise is created and bearing any of its risk with a view of making the profit. So a process when a new enterprise is set up and the risk is bared with the sole purpose of making the profit. This entrepreneurship organization is set up just for the purpose of making the profit therefrom. And the person who sets the enterprise, set up the enterprise, is known as entrepreneur. Just what it is called, the person is known as entrepreneur. He sets the production. What work he does? He sets the production unit, hires the workers, and arrange the whole production process. Means the whole production process is in charge of the entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is defined as the process of creating a new enterprise. A new enterprise is set up, just all the risk is borne, and with the sole purpose of making the profit. And the person who set up the enterprise is known as entrepreneur, and he sets up the production, manages the entire thing, hires the workers, and arranges the whole production process. So that is known as entrepreneurship. Now that is the last topic of this video, that is role of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship plays a very important role in the company, in the organization. The first role is risk taking. Now, entrepreneur establish the organization with the sole purpose of earning profit. Organization is obviously set up for earning the business. Any kind of business is set up for earning the profit. However, sometimes the profit may be negative also. Means they may, this entrepreneur may sometimes earn suffer the loss also. So that is a total different scenario. To earn a profit or not to earn a profit is totally dependable, but for that purpose the principal role of the entrepreneur is to take the risk, because risk is a part and parcel of the business. In commerce also you have studied risk are the part and parcel of business. Without risk you will not be able to earn much profit. So it is a secondary factor that whether after after taking the risk whether you earn the profit or loss, it is a secondary factor, but first you need to take the risk. Whether he may earn profit or loss, it is a different scenario, but first the role of entrepreneur is to take the risk. Now second is management. All the decisions are taken by the entrepreneur. Decisions regarding what? The production and sale of goods, how the production will be carried on, how the goods would be transferred to the customers, what services would be provided, how to satisfy the customers, how to bring the modification or the changes in the product. How, so all these decisions regarding the production management and the sale of goods would be done by the entrepreneur, and just all the decision is taken by him. Thus the task of managing the firm as a whole falls on the entrepreneur. So the whole task of managing the firm, how the employees will work, thus in what working hours they should work, how much salary they should get, what is the incentive rate, what is the bonus plan. So all the decisions of managing the entire business lies in the hands of the this entrepreneur. So he plays a very important role in the management, and because of which the whole organization is able to run smoothly. So I hope so you must have got this role, and this was the end of this video. I hope all the topics were clear to you. Until then, be safe at home, keep on revising students, do like and subscribe my channel, and have a nice day.